This call is now being recorded. This call is now taking notes.
So this is our complex analysis problem sessions. So we will be discussing problems from various textbooks like Conway, Stein-Chakraborty, but mostly the most emphasis will be given on PYQs. Like ISI is just around the corner, so ISI of course, and then CSIR net. And then in our next session from July to December, we will be focusing on TIFR and NBHM. So for the first two classes, we will be doing a little bit, sort of a scattered type of session it will be. Mixed session maybe, a free flowing one. But then within a few weeks, we will do things more structurally, like a few problem sessions on Mobius strips. I'm sorry, Mobius transformations, a few problem sessions on maximum modulus principle and open mapping theorems, and so on. Okay. So more or less, that's how I have planned it. So I think the class is open though, but Shubhrita, has the link been shared in the big group?
না
Yeah, I
তো
can. তাহলে পাঠিয়ে দিস।
দিয়ে কি বলবো কমপ্লেক্স অ্যানালিসিস প্রবলেম সেশন
হুম।
দাঁড়াও এক সেকেন্ড
অসুবিধা নেই, এটা তো প্রবলেম সেশন, so people can join in between. Since this is a problem session, if few students join from say after two classes, they shouldn't be facing difficulties. Okay. Okay, so there are students, let me see. Ritik is there, Hassan is there, Shobik is there. So let's discuss a few things. Tell me, are you guys familiar with the statements of the following? So one, say Morera's theorem. Two, Cauchy theorems. Cauchy estimates. Maximum modulus. Open mapping. So are you guys familiar with these statements?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
কশি এস্টিমেট মানে কশি ইনইকুয়ালিটি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা ইনইকুয়ালিটিটা কোথায় বেশি? ইউনিকনেস থিওরেম, uniqueness theorem, is that okay?
ইউনিকনেস বলতে ঠিক বুঝলাম না এটা।
আইডেন্টিটি থিওরেম,
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
এক এক বইতে এক এক রকম। Fine. Let's first try with this. Let if be a holomorphic function on an open of z naught belongs to C. Z naught is a fixed point. Given that the series summation in running from 0 to infinity, if n z naught converges absolutely, we can conclude that f is constant if can be extended to an entire function First, tell me whether the statement is clear to you or not. Is the statement clear to you? দেখো তোমরা সবাই আমায় খুব ভালো করে চেনো, ঠিক আছে? লজ্জা পেয়ে চুপ করে থাকার তো মানে হয় না, কথাবার্তা বলো বাবা। স্টেটমেন্টটা বোঝা গেছে কিনা সেটুকু তো বলবে।
হ্যাঁ দাদা, বোঝা গেছে।
হুম, এবার বলো কিভাবে অ্যাপ্রোচ করা উচিত এটাকে, হাউ শুড উই অ্যাপ্রোচ ইট? Can somebody give me an idea whether this is true or not? Don't you think this, I mean, ABDR money, I mean, a little bit too much? See, FN Z0 is a power series, right? Which is in real, which is Taylor series. So they are saying that FN Z0 converges absolutely, which means, so what does this criteria mean? It means that summation in running from 0 to infinity mod Fn Z0 is finite, right? Right. But to say that just because the power series is convergent, f is either constant or polynomial, or I mean for every x real s fx is real, don't you think it's a bit too much? Can you give me an example of a power series which is not a polynomial but which converges? Anything. I mean, what comes to your mind right away? Can you give me an example? Just give me an example of a power series that converges.
তো 1 + x + x² / 2 ফ্যাক্টোরিয়াল মানে ওই সিরিজটা।
Okay, fine. He is saying e to the power x, right?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
এটা কি সৌভিকের গলা?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
So what Shovik is saying is that consider e to the power z, right? So what is that? It is nothing but summation, right? So for z0 we have summation in running from 0 to infinity z to the power z0 to the power n by n factorial. By the way, what is, I mean, if this is our fz, tell me what is the nth derivative at z0? What is it? It is the same thing, right? That is e to the power z0, right? The same thing, na? Hello?
হ্যাঁ দাদা।
I have a tendency to make silly mistakes, so beware. I mean, be watchful. So if z0 is, say, r cos theta plus r sin theta, What is e to the power z naught? E to the power r cos theta times e to the power I r sin theta. Why I write that? Take the modulus e to the power z naught. Take the modulus fn z naught. That is what? E to the power r cos theta, right? So what about this series? What about this? You know the value of fn z naught now. You know the value of fn z naught now. So what is that? E to the power, that is fn z naught, right? Yeah, that is e to the power r cos theta. I mean, by that I mean this. Right? So there is a little bit of a problem, right? With this example. With this example, we see that e to the power z naught, I mean for fn z naught, it may not work, right? Because you see, this is not convergent, na? This converges to infinity because you are adding this term infinitely many times. Okay. To adjust it, look what we do. Okay. Clear now? Now can you tell me why it will work?
আমি সেটাই জিজ্ঞাসা করতে যাচ্ছিলাম যে এটা মানে কেমন করে বুঝলে যে এটা এরকম অ্যাডজাস্টমেন্ট আসবে?
Because when you are writing z naught by 2, okay, actually there is a little problem. I told you that I am gonna make this miscalculation anyway. So tell me, what is the differentiation? What is f prime z? It will be what? Half e to the power z by 2, right? Right? So what will be fn z? It will be half to the power n e to the power z by 2, right? Key.
দাদা
So now if you put z naught equals to r cos theta plus I r sin theta, then your e to the power z naught by 2 becomes r by 2 e to the power r by 2 cos theta, right? Now if you calculate, what do you get? Mod 1 by 2 to the power n e to the power z by 2, I mean z naught by 2, that is 1 by 2 to the power n correct? Now this converges, right? This converges, now this is a clear sum, and this is what 1 plus 1 by 1 minus 2, no? Right? This converges, clear? So e to the power z by 2 satisfies the conditions. Shovik, do you still have the problem that how could I come up with this function? Are you still asking? You
ওই
realize
এনের
because of this GP, because of this GP,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
I mean, it's not necessarily half. You can take e to the power alpha z where alpha lies in between this, okay, and that will work. Because here if you will have alpha to the power n, and here you will have, I mean, the 1 by 1 minus alpha, okay?
ওকে
So that is the trick, because we saw, I mean, what was the problem? You see, we had this e to the power r cos theta, right? Now the problem is that it is a constant. If we sum it infinitely many times, it will remain, I mean, that will go to infinity. So I will have to adjust something. How about putting a negative GP there? Okay. So you see that will strike out these two options, right? Immediately. Can you tell me how to strike out this? Just seeing at this example, can you tell me how to strike out this? This is also false. Just take this. The calculations will be exactly same. You understand there? Instead of r cos theta, we will probably have r sin theta there. The everything else will be same. See? And once you put, if x belongs to reals, what do you have? E to the power ix, right? Which is not real. Okay? So one a, b and d are gone. Now what? So of course, I mean c will be correct. That's true. But how to prove it? How to prove that f can be extended to an entire function? So you see, if z has a power series expansion about z naught, right? So if z is of the form what? Anyone? Now what do we have? We have that. Yeah, somebody please tell me. Maybe I should write in here. Where an is this? Okay. What is the radius of convergence there? Anyone?
রেডিয়াস অফ কনভার্জেন্স তো
বলো কিভাবে
লিমিট
বের করে?
লিমিট অফ এ এন প্লাস ওয়ান বাই এ এন সেটার ইনভার্স আর কি।
বলছে this is nothing but এইটা তো first of all
এটা
সৌভিক আমার okay, let's see.
এটার ইনভার্সটা তো মনে হয়
Okay, we will invert it. Okay, one by. Okay, let's compute this first. So what is an plus this? What is this? This is fn plus 1 by z naught. Right? Right? Plus 1 factorial. Oh, sorry. अच्छा था. Correct? So this go to 0, no? Right? So radius is infinity, right? Correct? So if can be extended, এই সবার কাছে পরিষ্কার, to whole C by কে বোঝনি বলো তো, তোমরা খালি চুপচাপ থাকো। ক্লিয়ার কি?
একটু লাস্টের দিকটা দেখি।
See, f has the power series expansion about z naught, right? Because f is analytic there. So I have just written that expansion, and I have shown that the radius of convergence is infinity. So you can put any z out there. Clear or not?
আমি মনে হয় কিছু একটা সিলি মিস্টেক করছি, মানে আমার মনে হচ্ছে যে এফ এন জেড জেড কি কোনোভাবে ওয়ান বাই জেড হতে পারে?
If nz or fz?
এফ এন জেড
হ্যাঁ, এইটা No, I mean if you integrate it, then it has to be log z, na. That is
ঠিক
not
ঠিক
possible, I believe.
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে
Clear? ছেলেপিলেগুলো কথা বলে না। These are all PYQs from CSI and NET, okay? I'm writing those from my collection, but these are all problems from CSI and NET. What do you think? What do you think? Eki. Should I give you a hint?
দাদা এ তো হবে না, বাকি এখন আচ্ছা ম্যাক্সিমাম এটা তো মডুলেশন।
Why don't you guys draw picture? ছবি আঁকো না বাবা। Draw a picture and the problem will be done. Okay. Inside is D, right? Dur baba. There is your origin, right? Where will it go to? F0 equals to 1, right? Correct? Now tell me why it can't happen. See, this is a problem session. So you will have to cooperate with me. You will have to participate because you are going to have to solve these problems in CSI and NET or in any exam. So tell me, what is it? 0 is an interior point, right? 0 is an interior point, correct? Right? So this is your first information. And what is your second information? F is an open map, right? So if you take, say if you take an open ball there, it will go to an open ball here, correct? Now let me draw the boundary here. Right? So this is the intersection, right? Now tell me, so this is all the area where mod f0 is less than equal is exactly equal to 1. Am I right or not? Correct? So you take an open disk, I mean a small open disk, open set around the origin. It will be mapped to an open set around 1. That open set is clearly intersecting the circumference of the circle, of the unit circle here in this region. So clearly it is uncountable, right? Must be uncountable. It is a strip, na? An interval. How can it be countable or anything else? I mean, apart from uncountable. Clear talego? চলো এগোনো যাক।
তো এটা আনকাউন্টেবল হলে পরে ফাংশনটা কনস্ট্যান্ট ফাংশন হয়ে যাচ্ছে না?
No. Who told you that mod fz is contained in the inside this? Look at this. The number of z satisfying this. These are not all z. Okay, I understand. First of all, if z is 1, that's not the condition. The condition is mod fz is 1.
ও আচ্ছা 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 আচ্ছা
Then
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
what sort of a silly mistake is that? If you take fz equals to z,
এবার পরীক্ষাতেও একটা ওই সাইন অফ মড জেড দিয়ে দিয়েছিল, ওটার জন্য আমার গোটা একটা কোয়েশ্চেন গেছে এরকম।
clear? Cholo, problem 3. Let's give you an easy one. For an odd integer, k greater than equals to 0, greater than equals to 1, let be the set of all entire functions f such that fx is mod x to the power k. Then the cardinality of f is কি মনে হয়? What do you think? Okay. চলো দেখা যাক এটা কি হয়। Let's see how to do it.
এরকম কোনো ফাংশন মানে এরকম কোনো ইয়ে আসবে না আর কি, ফাংশন আসবে না।
Well, Shovik is saying that no such functions exist. Why?
মানে একে যদি মানে দুটো পার্টে ভাঙা যায়, যদি ইয়েটাকে -1 থেকে 1 এর মধ্যে যদি আমি ফাংশন নেই, ওটাকে ধরে নাও কেটাকে 3 ধরে নিলাম, তো -z⁻³ আর যদি সেটা সেক্ষেত্রে হচ্ছে আমি আইডেন্টিটি থিওরেম থেকে পাবো যে fz-টা -z⁻³ হবে। আর যখন যখন হচ্ছে 0 থেকে 1 এর মধ্যে নিব, তো তখন এটা z⁻³ হবে শুধু। তো তো সেটা তো হতে পারে না।
So he is saying that fx is
কন্ট্রাডিকশন চলে আসছে।
x⁻k if x belongs to 0, 1 minus x⁻k if x belongs to. So this line implies if z equals to z⁻k for all z belongs to C, right? And this line implies if z equals to minus z⁻k for all z belongs to C. Both are due to identity theorem, right? Which is a contradiction. So this is just 0 and everything else is 0. So problem 4. Let f be an entire function which maps R into R and IR into IR. So I think it's clear what IR is, right? Imaginary, I mean the imaginary axis. So if is an entire function that maps R to R and IR to IR. Then we can conclude A if is constant, B if z equals to 0 for all z belongs to C, C if is an even function, D if is an odd function. Yeah, anyone how to do this? Okay,
এটা কি বি হবে? মানে
I don't
z
know, I will
equal
try
to
with you. I will try with you. So first of all, if is constant is, I mean, we can just strike it out, right? It doesn't make sense. Because clearly, I mean, if z equals to z is there, na? Right? So if z can be z, na? So which cancels these two options immediately. If is an even function, Cz is an odd function, okay? So this is also not true. But does it have to be an odd function? That's the thing, na? You see, if is not an even function, that is true. But why is f necessarily an odd function? So fx is real, clear, and if ix is, so let's write, so fx belongs to R, if x belongs to R, and fx belongs to IR, if, no, let's write this one. For x belongs to R, fx belongs to R, and f of ix belongs to, so what can we say about f of minus x? It is also in R, that is one thing, but apart from that, to prove that this is an odd function, we will have to show that fz minus f of minus z is 0. So f of minus x is nothing but f of I square x, that is f of I mean, clearly D will be correct, but we will still prove D. If this is in the exam, then the problem is done, because we will just tick D and we will move on. But in our class, it is important to solve the problem completely. There was another proof which I think I should have written. I was waiting for the perfect opportunity to write this thing. Do you remember this? That if z is analytic, then if z bar whole bar is analytic as well. Do you remember this? This was the function taken in Schwartz reflection principle. Do you remember what Schwartz reflection principle was? A function, I am just stating it vaguely. A function was defined there, okay? So you call it omega plus, okay, and you call this thing omega minus, just the mirror reflection of that. The f was defined on omega plus, and it was stated that fx is x for all x, sorry, fx belongs to r for all x belongs to r. So we were told to extend this f, or maybe if you should write f plus, extend this f plus to an f which will be defined on omega plus union this line, let's call it I, union I, union omega minus. So what did we do? Fx was there, f plus was there, we defined f minus to be, f minus of z to be f of plus z, sorry, f of plus z bar whole bar, right? So the recipe was same, simple. You take z here, bring z bar here, okay, no, sorry, the opposite. You take z here, you want to define if, I mean f minus for this z, right? So what will you do? You take z bar here, now you have f plus, you apply f plus to that, and you take the bar to send it here again, okay, clear? So f is defined in a way such that if z is, or maybe I should write f restricted to f plus is f plus, f restricted to omega minus is f minus, right? And f minus was defined that way. So that was how we proved Schwartz reflection principle. So we have taken the same function, and you see what's gonna happen. So we have one thing. So what is gx? I mean, let x belongs to r. So what is fx is belongs to r, right? Fx is there. X bar is also real, basically. I mean, x bar doesn't make sense. X is x bar. So hence we have fx bar conjugate belongs to r as well, right? Because you see, I mean, x is real, so x bar is real. Fx is real, hence fx bar is also real. I mean, why I write this? Because we see just writing the obvious for all x belongs to r. Any lightning in your head? So identity theorem says right, correct? Now for x belongs to r, ix belongs to ir, so f of ix is in ir, right? So g of ix, that is f of ix bar whole bar, you write it f of minus ix whole bar what will be this? See, this is purely imaginary, right? This quantity inside, it is purely imaginary. So this will be this. Is that clear? But again, from star, what do you have? F of ix, right? From star, you have. So then you have this equality. Correct? Again by identity theorem. Clear? Is it clear?
হ্যাঁ দাদা।
So we will conclude today's class here, but we will be doing a lot more problems. Mostly, I mean, I think what we did today, apart from problem 1, they were involving like open mapping theorem and like identity theorem, na? Yeah, the construction is of this function is followed from Schwarz reflection principle. That is different, but most of it was like from basic complex, those two theorems. Okay, so we'll conclude here and we will meet you next Tuesday.